For Pacifica Radio, I'm Scott Baba. The United States and some other Western embassies in Kyiv are staying closed today for security reasons, with the American delegation saying it has received a warning of a potentially significant Russian air attack on the Ukrainian capital. The precautionary step came after Russian officials promised a response to President Joe Biden's decision to let Ukraine strike targets on Russian soil with U.S.-made longer-range missiles, a move that angered the Kremlin. The U.S. Embassy said its closure and attack warnings were issued in the context of ongoing Russian missile and drone attacks on Kyiv and anticipated a quick return to regular operations. The Italian and Greek embassies also shut to the public for the day, but the British government said its embassy remains open. U.S. envoy Amos Hochstein says an agreement to end the Israel-Hezbollah war is, quote, within our grasp after meeting officials in Lebanon. Hochstein, the Biden administration's point man on Israel and Lebanon, arrived yesterday as Hezbollah's allies in the Lebanese government said it had responded positively to the proposal. It's unclear how close they are to an agreement which would likely entail both the militants and Israeli ground forces withdrawing from a UN buffer zone in southern Lebanon. Time is running short for negotiators at the United Nations climate talks in Azerbaijan to solve a difficult puzzle. They need to find an agreement that can bring far more money to poor nations affected by climate change than wealthy nations have shown they are willing to pay. Pressure is building on the host nation to drive a deal by the time the talks are scheduled to conclude on Friday. Many climate activists question the siting of this year's talks in oil and gas-rich Azerbaijan, whose president has described those fossil fuels as a, quote, gift of the gods. Former Hong Kong publisher Jimmy Lai is testifying in his defense at his landmark national security trial, which is widely seen as a measure of press freedom and judicial independence in Hong Kong. Charles de Ledesma reports.
People wait outside the court in early morning rain to secure a seat in the courtroom. Lai is the founder of the now shuttered Apple Daily pro-democracy newspaper. He was arrested in 2020 during a crackdown on mass pro-democracy protests that rocked Hong Kong. Starting in 2019, he's fighting charges of colluding with foreign forces to endanger national security and conspiring with others to issue seditious publications. If convicted, he faces up to life in prison. Authorities have used a Beijing-imposed national security law to prosecute many of the city's leading activists, including Lai and 45 other democracy advocates who were sentenced on Tuesday. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
As the nominations roll in, President-elect Donald Trump is clearly prizing experience on television as he chooses people to serve in his new administration. Ben Thomas filed this report.
I'm not going to fade into the woodwork. You'll probably see me around.
Linda McMahon in 2010 after the first of her two failed bids for a Senate seat from Connecticut. President-elect Trump's now nominating the billionaire professional wrestling mogul for Secretary of Education. She served a year on the Connecticut Board of Education and on the Board of Trustees for Sacred Heart University, though she's seen as a relative unknown in education circles. She has expressed support for charter schools and school choice, but the Education Department is an agency Trump has promised to dismantle. McMahon's co-chaired Trump's transition team with Howard Lutnick, chief executive of financial services company Cantor Fitzgerald, who he's tapped to lead the Commerce Department. Trump's also selected Dr. Mehmet Oz, the former heart surgeon turned TV talk show host, to head the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Ben Thomas, Washington.
A major storm is sweeping across the northwest United States, battering the region with strong winds and rain. It caused widespread power outages and downed trees that killed at least one person. Jennifer King has more.
A bomb cyclone hitting the Pacific coast from Northern California up to British Columbia has left hundreds of thousands of people without power. Authorities are asking residents to stay off the roads after gale-force winds downed trees and power lines. In Issaquah, east of Seattle, KOMO News talked with Wendy Harrington after a cedar tree fell on her house.
It felt explosive, or like there was a bomb going off, breaking glass, the sound of breaking glass. Everything was just very loud. I thought the whole wall was coming down.
In Linwood, Washington, South County Fire reports a woman woman in her 50s died when a large tree fell on a homeless encampment. In Seattle, a city bus was hit by a tree, and in northeast Seattle, the fire department used chainsaws to rescue a person trapped when their car was crushed by a falling tree. The National Weather Service also issued a blizzard warning due to low visibility and snow accumulation in the upper Cascades. I'm Jennifer King.
I'm Scott Bamba for Pacifica Radio.